Hello, hi Vibes Tribe. Welcome to my channel. Welcome you guys. Happy Friday. So today I'm doing a reading on Mr. Justin Bieber. I wanted to check in with him and his energy. He started doing live streams on Twitch, and I think it's just a place where he wants to go and have community, where he can just be himself and have the fans be able to connect with him in a way that's not invasive. Paparazzi, that can be very overwhelming. And so I think he just wants a sense of community, and I do believe that part of his childhood was taken from him, and he just wants to have a moment to play basketball, be with his friends, be in the vibe. I did watch a few of his streams. I also recently watched a documentary, and my eyes were so opened to so many things. I thought I knew a lot of information about him. There are so many things that I saw in this documentary that really broke my heart, and it explains so much of the trauma that he has and the way he is, how he is. And let me just share with you guys. So during the documentary, it talks about his childhood growing up and how he was discovered pretty early on through YouTube. He would play the drums, he'd be on YouTube, and he'd upload them, and people just kept watching and kept watching. Obviously, he was a beautiful baby. He looks like the perfect baby doll. And then he came to Hollywood, and he met with Usher. He signed pretty quickly, and that's when the whole thing, everything just blew up. There was an interview that he did on, it's called The View, and there was 5 ladies there, and just the amount of sexualization, he was 15 at the time, from ages about 14 to maybe like 21. There are so many clips I saw of people just sexualizing him. And these are grown adults. These are 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old women asking him questions like, would you ever perform naked? On The View, they asked, and these are all women in their 50s and 60s, which one of us would you date? And he's just like, and I'm going to be honest, I'm proud of Justin Bieber because he didn't shy away. He wasn't people pleasing. He's like, that's an inappropriate question. I'm 15 years old. Why would you ask me things like that? I can't remember his name right now, but it's a comedian that's very well known, was sitting next to him, and he's like, oh my God, you smell amazing. And just the amount of sexualization. And there was one clip I saw of a lady with short blonde hair. He was accepting an award on national TV, might have even been live TV, and she tried to kiss him on the mouth, and he's like 16. My whole soul crumbled when I saw all of these clips. How disgusting, one, that grown human beings feel that they can do this to a child. He was a child. He had no protection, and it's not fair. He had zero protection. He didn't have people looking out for him, and that's not okay, especially someone at that age. So, Justin Bieber, I'm sorry that you had to go through that, because you feel robbed. You feel robbed of your privacy, of the most sacred part of you, your sexuality. So it's really unfortunate. I did write down a few notes on a lighter note after watching his Twitches. What I pick up, now again, you guys, I'm picking up the energy. I'm picking up body movements. I'm picking up his mannerisms. I'm picking up things that he's doing when he's not speaking. I'm an empath. I'm an intuitive empath. I'm very psychic. All of the gifts, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, all the things. So I'm reading what he's doing and saying when he's not doing or saying anything. Reading in between the lines and the mannerisms and his energy and the changes in his face. So he mentioned that he can't control his thoughts. He talks a lot about Jesus Christ, which I think is beautiful. Sometimes religion can be used to control someone. The reason I bring that up is because Haley brought him to a church. They were asking for donations, large amounts of money. A lot of times churches reach out to celebrities for donations to bribe them, to program them, to get them really hooked into a religion so they can then siphon their bank account. He mentioned that he doesn't feel like he can control his thoughts. He feels that, if he has a bad thought, that's a sin. And to me, I feel like it's practice. Every single day that we're on this earth, it's practice. Sitting in meditation and practicing to control your thoughts, it's very real, it's very possible, but he hasn't quite gotten there yet. He seems to be very, very hard on himself. He was at this round table with a bunch of his friends, and they were having just a heart-to-heart. It was a beautiful, beautiful conversation, and he felt safe to open up how he feels about his healing. And he seems very hard on himself. His posture seems to be affected because he carries a very heavy energy, which I saw in his aura. His aura is very dark. The aura is dim, which means there's a lot of heavy, dense energy that he has not released. A lot of things, a lot of trauma that he has not processed or released. He also mentioned that when he dives into his past and he dives into his traumas, it exhausts him, but for other people it's liberating. Well, I believe, and this is just my feeling after watching and being the healer that I am and knowing what I know, when you're not processing your emotions, they do weigh you down physically. It is scientific fact that what you don't process and what you don't heal and you don't release literally weighs on you. And so I think it exhausts him because he's not processing it. He's not sitting in it and releasing it. He's basically avoiding it, and he's letting it weigh him down. So I think that if he starts to sit in his feelings and process and really just do the healing work, and yes, it's hard because when you process and you heal traumas, you literally have to reopen that wound and feel all of the pain and sit in that energy yet again. Process it and think about why it happened, what it taught you, and then release it. A lot of people don't realize that part of healing is releasing. Forgiveness is a huge part of healing. Forgiving yourself and forgiving others allows you to feel lighter and move forward. I believe he wants acceptance. I do. And I'll tell you why. Because when he was younger, 99 to 100% of his energy in his life was performing. He didn't have a chance to have a normal childhood. And I'll tell you why I feel this way. He was sitting in a ball pit that was made for his son, all balls and blocks. And he just, when I saw him doing like building blocks, it almost reminded me of Jenga. He just looked so innocent and so pure and so content and just sitting by himself and building blocks. And a lot of people in the comments were talking about, they try to twist it into a negative thing, that there's something wrong with him. And to me, I feel like that's healing. He's at peace. He's building blocks. His mind is at ease. He's not anxious. He's just building blocks. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's healing the childhood or part of his childhood, let the man have the moment. It's the same as playing dominoes or playing Jenga as an adult. It's not a bad thing. He has a lot of guilt connected to people pleasing because so many people want stuff from him all the time. His energy, his attention, his time, his voice, his creativity. I think he doesn't know how to draw the line with people pleasing, and that's exhausting. And maybe that's why he's exhausted all the time, is he doesn't know when to say no. He's definitely in his feminine energy. I notice he wears pink a lot, which isn't a bad thing. We all have masculine and feminine energy. He's definitely in his feminine energy, and he needs to heal that energy. Again, he's looking for community, which is why he's always around his friends. I think that's where he feels most at peace, maybe protected, where he can open up. He's living his childhood dreams, just being able to play, basketball. He's such a good basketball player. I know for me, I'm happiest when I'm on my yoga mat and I'm sitting inside of myself with God. It's just simple things. Sometimes people just need simple stuff to heal. His energy does seem to me very heavy. I know that when they were having a conversation, I saw some demons come out there's some anger. There were some demons in there. Justin Bieber, as we all know, has some demons, some anger issues that he needs to deal with. I don't think he's violent by any means, but there's anger that he's holding on to, and he definitely needs to forgive that, and I'm feeling it in my back. As I'm talking about it, I feel the need to do this. I really do. And I see him doing that a lot, and it's literally from the lack of healing, from the lack of letting go of trauma and just a lot of pent-up heavy emotions. I do believe that he's also, again, reliving a lot of his childhood, playing basketball, being with his friends, playing video games, because he's never had a chance. And people don't realize this. Your childhood is deeply connected to the adult that you're going to be. What you experience in your childhood shapes your adulthood, and a lot of people don't know this. Things that you go through in your childhood that you carry with you into adulthood shapes the type of adult you're going to be. The relationship that you have with your parents, mainly your mother, sometimes the father. For men, it's the relationship that they have with their mother shapes the kind of man that they're going to be, shapes the type of love that they're able to give. And same with women. Depending on the relationship that they have with their father, a lot of girls have daddy issues. Well, because your dad is the first example of love and how a man's going to treat you. With Justin Bieber, his first example of love was his mother. So the relationship that he had with his mother has a lot to do with who he is as a man today, how he loves, how he chooses to love, how he shows up in his marriage, so on and so forth. Again, I think that they do. Religion's a little bit hairy for me because I am free-spirited, I am enlightened, I am Buddhist. So to me, I love everybody. I don't care what you look like. You can have 3 eyes, 4 hands, and 2 heads. And I don't care because my heart is open and I love everyone. What I base my judgment off of is how you treat people and how you treat yourself, and if you're honest. So he is Christian, and I think it's a beautiful thing. He's sang many gospel songs that I think are gorgeous, and I think there's nothing wrong with religion. There's obviously has to be a balance. Whatever people need to do to feel better, but sometimes religion can be used to control. It can be used to siphon people's bank accounts. It could be used to shame people sometimes. And so he goes back and forth between being free-spirited and then being Christian. He talks about meditation, but then he talks about sinning in the Bible. To me, I am Christian and I am Buddhist. I grew up Christian, so I grew up in the church and reading the Bible, and I have an aunt who I love and is my best friend in my heart and soul, who is very Christian, but she's always given me the option. She's never pushed it on me. But I'm also Buddhist because I'm enlightened and I meditate. So I think that they can go hand in hand. It's just about balance, and I think at some point some of these churches have taken advantage of him because of his pocketbook. He did talk about how he was suicidal. This is going to be hard because he is on the twin flame journey and I'm also on the self-love journey. So I have a deep connection to him, I feel, and other twins that I have met. We just connect deeply because we're on the same journey. I didn't know that Justin Bieber was smoking marijuana and taking drugs to a point where his security would have to come in several times to check his pulse to see if he was alive. He was heavily suicidal at one point. It got to a point where he would lock himself in a room and he would just be on benders, and I had no idea. And his body started to shut down, and this is around the time he married Haley, and he had to go. He chose the holistic route, a lot of herbs, medications that are natural, IVs, things like that. I just didn't know it got that bad, and it's because he suffers from tremendous amounts of trauma, to a point where if you watch his lives, you see it's called self-soothing. He'll do a lot of like touching his chest, kind of like a mother would to a baby. Like if you're holding your baby, you would pat your baby on the back to soothe. He does a lot of self-soothing. In the video, I believe it's called Sorry, one of the videos where he has pink hair, there's a lot of behind the scenes video of him. Literally, he had to stop. He's like, I can't film right now, I can't do the video. And he would be in the corner rocking back and forth and self-soothing. And it's because his body is releasing trauma. That's what happens. No matter what, when things get too heavy, the body is going to release trauma. A lot of people will block it out with drinking and doing drugs, but the emotions have to go somewhere, and certain triggers will have you release trauma. And so he was doing a lot of self-soothing, a lot of like rubbing his head and self-soothing, and there's nothing wrong with releasing trauma. The trauma has to go somewhere, you guys. It's like water. The water has to flow somewhere. So my heart goes out to him because, and I'm going to stop rambling, I'm going to get into, my heart goes out to him because I just did not realize how much he'd gone through and how alone he was. A bunch of yes men around him, a bunch of people who were only looking at him for the amount of money, and as I say that money pops out, that he could make. They didn't have his best interest out for him. It's a very exhausting energy. He's drained, he's exhausted. He wakes up, he says, some days are good, some days are full of anxiety. And that's because the body is trying to rid itself of trauma. It shows up in depression, it shows up in anxiety, it shows up in nightmares. Things that you're not healing, they'll show up. You know what I mean? They knock at the front door if you're not healing. So, all right, here we go, Spirit. Let me just shuffle a few times. I call an Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. His back bothers him. Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. A lot of trauma shows up in body aches, hip pain, back pain, headaches, migraines. If you're not healing the trauma, it shows up. Eye pain, things like that. So, all right. Let's say a prayer. Call on Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel, Spirit Guides and the Divine, my higher self. I call on Archangel Metatron. I ask for protection as I perform this act of divination. Again, you guys, this is all for entertainment purposes only, alleged. Everything that all the energy I'm pulling up is just what I'm perceiving from what I'm getting from him. And I only call on my higher self. I only call on my angels when I do divination. So no negativity, always kind in the comments, always kind to each other. Everyone is welcome in this channel. You are all loved. You are welcome here. Welcome. Welcome. All right. All right, Spirit. Mr. Justin Bieber, please tell me about Mr. Justin Bieber and his healing journey in specific. The heart. I heard young. The heart. Okay. Freedom. He is divinely protected. Justin Bieber is definitely connected to the divine. Divinely protected. So he wants freedom. He feels like, he has a lot of emotions that he's not processing. A lot of sadness. He needs to just cry. He feels like his trauma literally controls his life. When he wakes up, he doesn't know if he's going to have a good day or a bad day, because he really needs to heal his trauma. It's to a point where I just see running water into a glass. And at first it's very clear. But over time, if you don't continue to keep that water running, it starts to get murky. I feel like it clouds a lot of the way he thinks. It clouds his decision making. I feel like his trauma is almost controlling him. I do. I feel like his trauma is controlling him. I almost felt like he goes through waves, almost like in and out of consciousness. Like his trauma is controlling his thought process. He falls back into waves of he has PTSD. He has major PTSD. And it's honestly controlling his consciousness. He's imprisoned to his trauma. So the first thing that came out was the Queen of Cups. You guys remember how I said he was definitely in his feminine energy? I think he's looking for freedom. He's looking for a way to let go. He might be having a spiritual awakening soon. I just saw that. He might be having a spiritual awakening soon. His crown chakra might be opening up, which would be the best thing for him. Right now, when your chakras are blocked, you don't receive messages from the universe. The energy doesn't flow. Your energy becomes very heavy and stagnant. I see a lot of darkness in his aura. It's just so dark and heavy through his aura. He carries a lot, and I think that it blocks him from being able to cry too. His emotions are very blocked at times. I do think, and I just saw him at the table with his friends, it's very healing for him to sit at the table with his friends and talk about his trauma and talk about the Bible and talk about his emotions. A lot of this stems back from his childhood. He's looking for kinship. He's looking for a community. He's looking for people that he can be around where he feels safe. I don't think he's ever felt safe. I don't think that fame has made him feel unsafe, but the people that were around him connected to his fame made him feel unsafe. He's very innocent on the inside. He's got a purity about him. His heart's very pure, but I just heard sad. His heart's very sad. He almost feels like he's a bad person because of the trauma and the things that he carries. He has so much guilt based around the trauma. He feels like, well, shit, I must be a bad person because of all of these things that happened to me. And he mentioned, he's like, bad things happen to good people. It has nothing to do with what you do and the kind of person that you are. You can be a great person and bad things will happen. That mindset can be a little bit dangerous. It's almost like he's sabotaging himself, and it's kind of like the victim role. In a sense, yes, you could do everything right and it's still gonna rain. But a lot of times this rain or these things are coming to you to grow you, to open your eyes, to expand your thought process, to expand your consciousness. It's not about punishment, it's about growth, learning, and spiritual awakening. So he has a lot of childhood trauma that he needs to go through. A lot of these chapters here, a lot of cups. He's behind, you guys. I just saw that. He's very much behind when it comes to spiritual growth. Like the rest, I get almost like Michael Jackson. You know how when you're a young child, you're thrown into an adult world and you're forced to be, has a lot of regrets. You're forced to be an adult very quickly, and the foundation of who you are as an adult lies in your childhood. He has so many regrets. There's so much sadness, you guys. He's so fucking hard on himself For no reason, it makes me want to cry. I'm gonna hold these emotions. We're gonna cry after. He's harder on himself than anybody else. I think he literally sits and beats himself up all the time about the shit that he's gone through. It's almost like he feels like it's his fault. That the things that have happened to him are his fault. And that's a horrible, horrible thing to live with. All right. Spirit, can you tell me more about Mr. He feels alone a lot of the times. He can be, I just saw him sitting in a room by himself. He feels like, yes, there are people around him, but he feels so boxed in. Like he feels, let me paint this picture. He's sitting in a huge room by himself. He feels, it's almost vacant. Like he just feels so alone. Which makes the sense. I mean, have you heard the song Lonely? The first time I heard that song, it made me cry. On the inside, it's empty. He's so empty right in here. Oh my God, it just makes me want to cry. Holy shit. All right, Spirit, what else, please? He has psychic abilities. I heard clairvoyant, clairaudient. He has some, okay, so he has some major spiritual abilities that once he starts doing the healing will come the gifts. He'll have spiritual gifts once he starts, because he's chosen. Once he starts doing the healing, it'll make room for those chakras to open. The Hermit came up. Remember how I told you, like, he feels alone? It's crazy how I'll literally give a message and then the card will come up. But once he starts to make room for better things, his spiritual gifts will come online. He's a light worker, you guys. I think that sometimes sitting alone does help him sort out his feelings, but there's so much sadness there that he's afraid to like tap into, if that makes any sense. Then we have karmic justice. This is past life. I just saw that. This is past life, you guys. Hold on for a second. I dropped a card. Sorry about that. So this is past life trauma. What a lot of people don't realize is what you don't heal in one lifetime, you literally carry over to the next. So when I saw this is stuff that he's carried from past lifetimes that he needs to heal in this lifetime. And if he continues to avoid it, he's gonna have to continue to heal in the next lifetime. Then we have the King of Cups. So I heard duality. He does go back and forth between masculine and feminine energy. When he's in his feminine energy, he feels more vulnerable. He feels like he's in his emotions. But then he feels like, well, I can't be too feminine. I can't be too emotional because I'm a man. So he goes back and forth between I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a man. And he feels like he has to show up a certain way as a husband, a father, and a man. But then he has so much inside that he's not healing. So he goes back and forth a lot of, like, in his headspace, he goes back and forth between I need to show up for my family a certain amount. I need to be this really strong man, but he's broken on the inside. He's crumbling. So he feels like he's living two different worlds. Like when he's alone, he's got so much in here that he needs to take care of. But then when he's around other people, he has to put on like a certain face or put on a certain act to be like, I'm a man, I'm a husband. It's not clocking to you kind of situation. So it's all about balance, you guys. He has a lot of negative thoughts that come in sometimes that I'm gonna clarify this card. There's just, my energy feels heavy and just like heavy, sluggish, because he's tired, he's exhausted. Let me clarify this card. Spirit, can you clarify this Five of Swords, please? I'm feeling sluggish because he's sluggish. Like there's days where he just wakes up tired. Your physical energy and your energy and how much, how exhausted you are has a lot to do with what you're healing or not healing. Like narcissists wake up with no energy because they're not healing. They're vacant on the inside, so there's nothing there. Okay, woo! This card jumped out. Okay, so the Five of Swords talks about he's got a lot. He fights with his thoughts a lot. With his emotions, his thoughts, his feelings. I feel like he's in an internal war with what he should do and who he should become. The first card that came out was the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords talks about forward movement, progression, growing, ascension, moving forward. So he doesn't feel like he's growing fast enough on his spiritual journey, like he's healing enough. He feels stagnant, like he feels stuck, and he doesn't know how to navigate his spiritual healing. Because first and foremost, when you're on the twin flame journey, it's 100% spiritual, you guys. And I think that's why he struggles so much, and his Instagram is so all over the place. His emotions are so all over the place because spiritually, he's not loving himself. Spiritually, he's not protecting himself. Spiritually, he's not taking care of what he needs to take care of. Tower moment. So he recently had a tower moment, and this is based around family, based around the home life. The Four of Wands is marriage, family, the foundation, the home life. This could talk about, and I feel like it's more about his foundation. I feel like he's starting to realize that if he does not do the inner work, it's going to affect his home life, that he has to give more to himself. I just heard pour into his own cup. He's not pouring into himself, which is why everything around him is being affected. Spirit, how is Justin Bieber's relationship with his mother? She just popped in. He and his mother look a lot alike. Something about her ain't right. I don't get a good energy from her. Justin Bieber and his mother. Ooh, at the bottom we have, there's a lot of turmoil. I just heard turmoil. He loses a lot of sleep over the relationship he has with his mother. Abandoned. I just heard abandoned. He feels heavily abandoned by his mother. Oh my God, you guys. It's all right here. He has major, major abandonment issues. And he holds it right here in his chest. That is the core. That is his core wound, is abandonment issues. When you don't heal abandonment issues, you reflect that into everywhere that you go. And you guys, you have to realize we are literally just mirrors. Our outside world, as above is so below, as within and so without, meaning who you are on the inside is reflected into your world. If there's a lot of chaos in your world, it's because there's chaos on the inside. If there's a lot of negative things happening in your world, it's because there's negativity on the inside that needs to be dealt with. He has major abandonment issues, you guys. Major. And I think that has a lot to do with why he ran into a marriage in 2 months with someone that, yes, he knew, but he knew he knew deep down in his spirit she wasn't for him at the time. He did mention that he saw Haley at an event holding a baby, and that's when he's like, I want that. I'm going to be honest, you guys, because I'm on the twin flame journey. I'm going to be really honest. When you have a lot of trauma, twins come from a lot of trauma, you guys. What it is it's past life trauma that we carry over into our current life. The twin flame journey is one of the hardest journeys, or self-love journey. It's one of the hardest journeys that one will ever pick. It is the hardest journey, and I'll tell you why. You come into this life with a ton of trauma. You have to go through a traumatic childhood, a traumatic family life, because there's lessons that you need to learn. So what's happening is all of the trauma that he has not healed, he's now carrying. And he's now realizing that rushing into a marriage does not solve your problems. It makes them even worse. In a way, marrying Haley was probably a good thing, because it then brought all of the things that he was trying to avoid and running from to the forefront. To be honest, not to make this about me, but I'm gonna for a second. I grew up in a very traumatic, toxic, one of the most disgusting family units I've ever seen. And I can say that now because I'm healed on the outside looking in, and they are my family. And I was very conscious at age 6. I remember sitting at our dinner table looking around at my family members and just being disgusted. And I told my mom in front of everybody, I said, I'm not having kids. And my mom was like, but you're only 6, or it might have been 8. What do you mean? And I was like, well, look at you people, like, you're disgusting to me. And I mean, I was 8, so, but I was telling her the truth. I was very conscious to the abuse and the neglect and the addictions and just the way that people would speak to each other. And the family unit that I was in it disgusted me, which is why I knew I wasn't having kids and that I needed to heal, and I did not want to pass on the trauma that was being passed on to me. And I told my mom that at age 8 in front of everybody. I just said it. So what happens is when you're on the twin flame journey, it comes with a massive amount of trauma because of the lessons that you have to learn. And when you learn those lessons and you heal that trauma, you get flooded with gifts. So Justin Bieber got married super early because he wanted to avoid the trauma and the lifestyle and the home life that he came from. So again, when you're on the twin flame journey and you come from a really toxic, broken family unit, what you want to do is run from that and be the opposite of that. What I didn't realize I was doing, for example, my dad was a narcissist, skirt chaser, heavy drug user, would disappear, go on drug benders, and my mom was left to pick up the pieces. So I vowed to myself at age 8, 1, I will never have a relationship with my dad and allow him to abuse me the way he abused my mom. And then 2, I would never marry a man who was like my dad. So when you come from just a disgusting family unit, what you want to do is build an amazing family unit for yourself. Not realizing that you can't just disappear and go off and build that. You have to heal it, because what you don't heal, you're attracting. So what happened is Justin Bieber, instead of healing the family trauma that he had, the abandonment issues, he ran off and got married in 2 months thinking, I can just erase all of this from my past, build this brand new life, be this brand new person, and pretend that I don't have a ton of trauma and move forward. No. What happens is it literally follows you. You can't just marry someone in 2 months and become a whole new person and be like, well, all of the trauma and all the experiences and all the things that I need to heal, I'm just going to turn off, throw in the trash can, and walk away from it. That's not how it works, especially on a spiritual journey. You have to heal it. So he thought that, oh, I could just throw all my trauma in the trash can and be a whole new person and rediscover or rebuild myself and become a new person. That's not how it works. So what happened was his trauma knocked at the door, and it was 10 times worse. Now that he's married and he's trying to ignore it, you can't ignore abandonment issues because they come up. You can't ignore being sexualized because it comes up. You can't ignore the trauma because you're still carrying it. So, and I'm going to be honest, when I wanted to rebuild my life, I thought I could do the same thing. I was like, I'm just going to move to another state, change my name, and build a whole new life for myself, because I see the environment I came from and I don't want any of that to be connected to me. I literally changed my name, moved to a new state, got in a relationship, and then lo and behold, oh shit, everything that I'm running from, I've now manifested because I have to deal with it. That's how it works. You can't run from it. You continuously it's called a karmic loop. You manifest what you don't heal from. A lot of people think that they can just throw things in the trash and ignore them. You can't. You have to heal it, otherwise you carry it for the rest of your life. All right, Spirit. Can you show me the energy around Justin Bieber's mother, please? Justin Bieber and the relationship that he has with his mother, even if it's just energetic. Justin Bieber and the relationship he has. Trauma. I just heard trauma. There's a lot of traumatic wounds. I just saw a baby sitting in a bathtub by himself. Like, he literally felt like vacant. Like, she wasn't there. She didn't exist. I literally saw a baby boy sitting in a Claude, one of those fancy porcelain bathtubs, by himself with very little water in it. Just by himself. That's his relationship with his mother. At least that's the relationship that he had, or he felt. That's what he felt from his mother growing up, that she just wasn't there. And that's a horrible feeling when the parent that birthed you and is supposed to shelter and clothe you and protect you has literally left you to fend for yourself. All right, so here are the cards that came out. Oh boy. Let's see here. Wow. He does want to heal the relationship with his mother. He does. He really, really does. He wants to heal the relationship with his mother. He has to learn to balance. You guys, he has to make a decision. That's what the Tower moment was about. He needs to make a decision. It's coming close. It's coming. Like, he's either needs to make the decision to heal or stay behind. He needs to heal his feminine energy. The Empress is the feminine energy. The Empress is the twin flame card. It's the feminine, divine feminine. He needs to heal his divine feminine, you guys. Oof. He's walking away from things that no longer serve him, which is good. You see this cup here? He's walking to a brighter light. Things that no longer serve him. Maybe getting around some water would help. He's closing some chapters for sure. He's walking away from a lot of things that no longer serve him. I just saw him putting up boundaries with his mother. So Justin Bieber has some major issues with his mom, and he needs to put up boundaries. As I say that, look at the Seven of Wands. He's sitting inside of a glass here, protecting his light, protecting his power. I think that Justin Bieber slowly but surely is going to start protecting his energy, his power, her solar plexus, which is his power. Okay, so he's dealing with he's dealing with the solar plexus, the way he loves you guys. He's thinking about the way that he loves. Okay, so he feels stuck. There's some trauma. I just heard trauma around the way that he loves people, how he shows up. I just heard that specifically. I saw him sitting at the table in his pink hoodie saying the way I show up for people, how I show up, how I love people, whether it's friends, family. He feels like he can do more. He feels like the way he shows up isn't the best that he can, and it's connected to himself. He feels like he's not showing up the way he can when it comes to love and the way he should and the way a man should, because he's not showing up for himself. So again, you guys, as within is so without. So he's looking around him to be like, you know what, how am I showing up as a father? Not well. Okay, that now is reflecting on the inside how he needs to show up for himself. So what he's going to start doing is connecting his outer world to his inner world. I'm seeing it right now. He's like, how am I showing up as a father? Not great. Okay, so what do I need to change in here so I can be a better man, so then I can show up better for everyone else out there? So it's happening. It's starting for sure. Ooh, some heartbreak. I'm going to clarify the Three of Swords. His baby boy. Ooh, okay, that just came in. You guys, when he looks at his baby boy Jack, he sees himself. There's a lot of, he literally is looking at his baby boy and seeing himself. He doesn't see his son, he sees himself. There's a lot of sadness around his son. Oh my God, I just heard offer. He wants to offer his son better than what he had. He wants to give his son more than what he had. I think it was divine, oh Lord, it was in God's plan that he had a little boy so he can heal his childhood wounds through his son. He probably, I'm gonna be honest, when you have childhood wounds that you need to heal, a lot of times you'll have a child that looks exactly like you so you can do better. So basically you go back and you're reliving and nurturing and healing those childhood wounds that you have through your child. Oh, we have the Emperor showing up, beautiful. Forward movement. All right. Okay, so I think this is based around his son. It is. Okay. His son also triggers a lot of sadness within him and a lot of inner wounds within him that he needs to heal. When he's around his son, it almost seems heavy, like stagnant, like stuck energy. Like he doesn't know how to be there for his son sometimes based around what he went through as a child. He's spent a lot of time, you guys, in thought. I heard thought process and thought and deep soul searching when it comes to his son. I think sometimes he just sits with his son and he just like, it's almost like he's sitting with himself. You know what video just popped up and I saw, if you haven't seen the video Lonely, go watch the video Lonely. It's literally him as a child with a hockey stick and he's, you know, playing behind or backstage, and then he comes out to the stage and nobody's there except for him as an adult. He has some major hang-ups around his childhood. Oh my gosh. He has so much sadness and guilt and wounds, deep wounds to the heart around his childhood. He wants a better relationship with his son than his mom had with him. He wants to give more to his son than he received. He feels abandoned, like people owed him more, like he didn't deserve the type of behavior that he had. He almost feels sometimes like he might be a bad person based off of how people treated him or mistreated him or abandoned him or showed him. He feels like, well, I must not be worthy because of how people showed up for me or did not show up for me when I was a kid. He feels like because there's so much trauma based around his childhood that he must be rotten on the inside. Like his self-worth is definitely affected by his trauma as a child. He wants to find his self-worth, his self-love, his passion, his solar plexus, his power. Wow, my goodness. Yeah, these two cards are literally, you see, literally the same colors. Your root chakra, your safety, your solar plexus chakra. You see how she's got this like ball of magic in her hand? This is her self-worth, her magic, who she is. It's finding your power. It's loving yourself. It's finding you. It's, you know what I mean? It's soul searching. Wow. New beginnings, you guys. So he's going through a new chapter right now. I do think, I'm going to be honest. I do think, now that I'm like getting the whole picture, these live streams are just a way for him to nurture baby Justin Bieber. It's a way for him to be able to play basketball. You know, when you're a kid, the first thing that you wanted to do when you came home from school is like, dude, I'm going to Jimmy's house up the street. I'm going to Jessica's house up the street. We're going to play basketball. We're going to throw the baseball around. Kids just want to fucking be kids, dude. They just want to play marbles. They just want to swim. The freedom. Being a child is being free. Being free to hang out with anyone, whether white, black, green, whatever. When you see kids, it's an innocence, you guys. It's a freedom. It's a spiritual freedom before, of course, society rips that from them and tries to mold them into something else. He's trying to relive and be free. He didn't have that, so he's trying to have it now. And I think these streams with the basketball court, with the ping pong table, with the building blocks, yes, they're for his son, but they're also for him. He needs that. He's thirsting to relive his childhood based around relationships. When he heals himself, when he heals the childhood trauma, he's going to heal all of his relationships. The relationship that you have with yourself dictates the relationships that you have around everyone else, you guys. Absolutely beautiful. What else can you tell me, Spirit? I believe, you guys, I do, and it takes time. He has so much fucking trauma, more trauma than anyone I've ever met. And it's funny, this card came up. It's gonna take time, but you guys, he's gonna get there. He's gonna get there. You're gonna see many more crash outs. You're gonna see many more crazy Instagram posts. You're gonna see many more tears. But that's part of the healing. You have to crash out. Your heart has to break. You have to shed a tear. That's how you heal, is by going through all the shit. Healing's not pretty. It's not sexy. It's not attractive. Nothing about healing is cute. It's sitting in the bullshit. It's sitting in the septic tank and holding accountability for yourself, having responsibility for the things that have happened to you in the past, being able to separate what's happened to you and who you are. What happens to me in my everyday life does not dictate or define my self-worth. It's just an experience that I go through to grow me, to open my eyes, to change my perspective, to help me purge something that I'm holding on to, maybe that I don't need. So I think that he'll get there. He will definitely get there. Ascension. He's connected to the divine. I think, you guys, he's going to have some major spiritual awakenings. I keep seeing his crown. It's going to start with his crown. He's definitely going to come into some spiritual gifts, you guys. Mark my words, his late 30s to 40s. We're going to see the Justin Bieber we've always wanted to see. His light, you guys, is going to shine. I'm looking to my right now, and there's this gorgeous plane that's literally shooting straight up into the sky, and behind it is leaving this beautiful trail of colors. He's ascending, you guys. Now, as far as him and Selena Gomez, there's a song that she talks about. She says, "Show me the way that your heart breaks." She can feel all of the things that he goes through, his emotions and all the things that he's not going through. And in her song, she says, "I can't pretend that your weight doesn't weigh on me." Of course it does. The things that he's not healing, she can feel. When she says, "Show me the way that your heart breaks," yes, your heart has to break so you can rebuild it. Your heart has to break open when it's closed. It has to break open so you can heal all of the trauma, the wounds, and all of the hurt on the inside, so then you can love yourself back together. So she's telling him, "Show me the way that your heart breaks so I can then rebuild it for you, excuse me." She also says that what else? You're so beautiful in the dark. When you're on the twin flame journey, it's light and dark, you guys. It's duality. She's healing him, but he has to open up and allow her to get in there. There's so many other things I could say about that song, but it's a beautiful song. I do believe, from my perspective, that it is a song for him, and that she's telling him, like, wake up, I won't run, I'm here to help you, but you have. So again, she's encouraging him to open up and do the healing. Let the light inside, like, let God in, open up your heart, like, don't block everything out, don't close down, don't drink yourself numb, don't avoid, you know what I mean? Like, I do believe, though, that he's going to definitely do some major healing, you guys. All right. What else, Spirit, can you show me, please, about Mr. Justin Bieber? So he does have some temptations. Drinking, medicating, self-medicating. He does have some temptations that he deals with. He needs to be careful, because I just felt like in my, like, sometimes it might be hard for him to breathe if he's smoking. Like, he needs to be careful with that. Can you clarify the devil for me, please, Spirit? Balance. Can you clarify the devil for me, please, Spirit? Based on Justin Bieber. Can you clarify? It's crazy because he has a lot of matches. Like, I have the Queen of Wands, the King of Wands. I have the Emperor and the Empress. I had the Queen of Swords that came out earlier, and the King of Swords just came out. All right, so he definitely does have some temptations that he needs to deal with, and he did mention that. Sitting with himself, reflecting, you guys, I just literally heard reflecting came out loud and clear. A lot of the healing journey is healing and then reflecting on everything, so then when you move forward, you know not to do that again. Reflection is such a huge part of the healing journey and the spiritual journey, and sometimes you'll sit in reflection for a month, 2 weeks, a week, whatever. You can't rush the healing journey. He's going to be on the healing journey forever, so sometimes he just needs to sit and reflect. He doesn't rest enough. He needs to rest his heart. He needs more time by himself. I do believe that he has a lot of people around him to sometimes avoid being alone. Like, I think that when he is alone, he can feel, or he feels very alone, if that makes any sense. Some people avoid being alone because that's when the feelings come. That's when the emotions come. That's when the traumas come up. But he needs to sit and really heal that heart. His healing is all based around the heart chakra, you guys. His heart chakra is the one that's affected the most. The King of Wands. So, again, when I'm talking about temptations, the King of Wands is passionate, sexy stuff, corno, C-O-R-N-O, corn. I don't know. Now, I can't say, this is allegedly, I can't say that this is what he partakes in, but sometimes I think that he thinks about it maybe, so he just needs to have balance, you guys. Anything else you want to show me about? He wants happiness, you guys. He came out sideways, but he wants happiness. Sometimes I feel like he thinks that he may not deserve it. He did mention sometimes that he feels like he doesn't deserve true love, but then he's like, but then God loves us, so of course I deserve it. So he struggles with feeling worthy. That's a major thing on the twin flame journey, or the self-love journey. I'm actually not going to call it the twin flame journey anymore. I feel like that term is just so poisoned and misconstrued, and people have taken it in so many directions that it should not have gone. And so I'm going to say the self-love journey. Sometimes I feel like he feels like he's not worthy of love. These are just all things that he has to sit with and know that he is worthy of love. He's worthy of happiness. He's worthy of unconditional love. He's worthy of loving himself. He's worthy of having friends, having great finances, having a bright future. He's worthy of all of it. Lots of lessons with the world, you guys. He's going through some major, I heard upgrade. He's going through some major changes. I do believe, you guys. I do believe Mr. Justin Bieber's going to start going through spiritual awakenings. I do. I see it. He might, Kundalini. I think he's going to go through Kundalini. When he does, that's going to be hard as fuck. Kundalini's no joke. I heard it's time. He's going to go through Kundalini. All right, Spirit, does Justin Bieber want any more children with Miss Haley? Does Justin Bieber want any more? I heard no. Does Justin Bieber... Okay, let's see what this is about. Does Justin Bieber want any more children with Haley? Can you clarify the Seven of Swords? He's manifesting something. Meditation. He's manifesting something. Can you clarify the Seven of Swords? Oh, it's based around love. Okay. Duality. Manifesting. Moving forward to the Ten of Cups. Okay, cool. So I think for right now, I mean, if it happens, it happens. They could be pregnant right now. You never really know, because obviously adults are going to do what adults do, especially when you're married. Now, when it comes to, I think he really, really, really wants to work on that heart chakra, you guys. It's calling him. The healing to open his heart chakra is calling him. And it's based around moving forward. Duality, moving forward. Yeah. So let's go through the cards. So the Seven of Swords talks about sneakiness, things that go on at night behind people's backs. He's manifesting, you guys, love. Like, he's manifesting healing based around his heart chakra. Also, he's waiting for something. So the Three of Wands talks about waiting. I think that he spends a lot of time in meditation, maybe even around water, I think he talks to God, because this to me looks like someone who's looking out, like meditation, water. When you get around water, you get answers. Money. So this has to do with money. I'm not sure why, but manifesting. Okay, so he may be manifesting money. I think he's manifesting something based around duality. Let me see. Moving forward. Shit. In his sleep, you guys. He gets a lot of messages and answers in his sleep. He's manifesting moving forward spiritually. He's manifesting moving forward. He's manifesting healing. I think, you guys, I'm not gonna lie, that Justin Bieber's about to have like a major spiritual awakening. I think he's gonna go through Kundalini soon. I do. I hope so. He deserves it. He deserves all of the good things in life. He deserves to heal. He deserves love. Unconditional love. This was a little bit of a heavier one, you guys. I'm usually more enthusiastic, but his energy is just, he's so tired. He's so very tired. But, you know, I want nothing but the best for him. And I know we all would love to see Justin and Selena back together. At the end of the day, though, it's not about that. The twin flame journey, yes, if you do the work, supposedly you get back with your twin. Who the hell even knows? I don't know anything about that. But what I'm saying is, I think that each journey is based upon the contracts that each person signed and the work that they're willing to do. Whether he and Selena get back together or not, yes, the world wants to see he and Selena get back together. More than anything, I want to see him heal. I want to see him heal that heart and be the best possible version of himself. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about the relationship you have with God. It's about the relationship that you have with yourself. Because again, as within is so without. The more you heal yourself, the more you can heal others and love others. And you can show up for others. But you have to be able to show up for yourself first, especially on a self-love journey. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. Sorry about all of the rambling and talking, but after doing some research and really seeing, like, this documentary just really opened my eyes. It's a shorter documentary. It's called Justin Bieber's Broken. And seeing all of that, it just really makes me sad, because I love Justin Bieber. I miss the version of him that we're all so used to. I miss his voice. I miss the Purpose album. I miss just the light. I just miss him, you guys. And I know the world does. And we want to see him grow and heal. And the ultimate would be for him and Selena to be together, because that is his twin flame. That is his divine feminine. But before all of that can happen, or we can even think about that, he has to heal first, and that's most important. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for the likes, the shares. This one took a little bit out of me, because it's a deeper dive. When you're diving into someone's chakras and emotions, it tends to get a little heavy. But thank you so much. I love you guys. Namaste.